Brittany Latta, a voice actress who had previously came forward with information regarding Funimation and Ishizoku reviewers, stuff going on behind the scenes. Not a lot of information, but it was plenty more than the more or less nothing that we had before. Only speculation, really, and that email that was circulating at the beginning. So I appreciated her coming forward and giving a little bit more insight on all of that. Unfortunately, she is, she has made a tweet that isn't getting very good reception right now, and I don't find that surprising. Here's what it says. Fan subs, scratch that, fan dubs. Clap, R, clap, not clap, legal. And yeah, I'm going to do the claps because that stuff's really obnoxious on Twitter. Why not show how obnoxious it is, right? She says, you are distributing content you do not own. There are no professional fan dubs. If you advertise fan dubs, partake in them, and put them on your resume, you look unprofessional. This comes off extremely elitist to me. I'm going to show you another example really quick before we proceed with this one. So what's going on here? And let's keep in mind that I could use any number of examples. I'm just picking this one. But there are so many examples of Western VAs just displaying pathetic behavior, especially to the fans. This is the one I want to go with, though, because it displays elitism very well, in my opinion. So we had, this is very old. It happened many months ago. Long story short, a up-and-coming voice actress trying to get in the industry showed her support publicly for Vic Mignogna. This other voice actress then went in her DMs and posted this. And for the record, I don't really know who this voice actress is. I don't think she really has a reputation in the industry at all. So keep that in mind while we read. She says, I see that you're a VA and new to this industry. I just wanted to reach out and message you with some advice. I see that you support Vic and that you're involved with FantasySoft. The VA community is very small and word gets around fast. Those affiliations could be hateful to your reputation and your career before it even gets off the ground. And then she corrects that and says, those affiliations could be hurtful, so not hateful. What, you autocorrected to hateful? You use that word a lot? You very mad about things? Is that what's going on here? Wouldn't surprise me. And she ended it with this. I can tell you're starting out, so I just wanted to DM you privately to share this information. Have a good one. What an egotistical, elitist creep, in my very humble opinion. And going back to Brittany's tweet, she also had all this to say as well. If you want to do fan dubs as a hobbyist with your friends or as ADR practice, go ahead. But you should not be sharing them publicly or distributing them. They should be private among you and your friends only. When you begin to distribute content you do not own, you infringe on the rights of the license holder, even if that title doesn't have a Western release. No ifs, no buts, no I only claim to own blank. That doesn't mean you can distribute a product that is not yours. Oh, I didn't know she was a lawyer. That's good to know. Okay. And then continuing on, she says, not even the official actors or ADR writers or ADR directors or people on production in Japan have the right to stream episodes of dubs they have done on websites. Heck, many licensors don't want us saying words as a character we play without permission. Sorry you work in an industry where everyone has such fragile egos, I guess. Those are the Western companies, by the way, the licensors. The licensees would be the Japanese part. So that's funny. A title that is subtitled officially but isn't dubbed is still actually licensed in that respective country. Titles distributed on Amazon or Crunchyroll without dubs are still under a license contract, and those companies most likely hold the dub rights as well as distribution. Phone gonna go rip, and I want to sleep. Legality questions aside, I was trying to bring light to how this affects your professional image and make new VAs aware about something they might not know. If you want to keep fan dubbing knowing that, I really don't care. It's your career. And my boy, Merryweather Comics, again, he always makes me so happy. Whenever we talk about Merryweather Comics, I always get really happy, guys. I love his channel. He's such a nice guy. Everything about Merryweather. I mean, the profile picture, everything about Merryweather I love. And now I love this tweet, too. Here's what Merryweather says in response to that, Brittany. Merryweather Comics says, all comics I post on social media are legal to fan dub, in case anyone wanted to. Yes. If you guys haven't followed Merryweather yet, maybe check him out. Twitter, YouTube, Merryweather Comics. Consider that. And the response here from a nice anime profile picture. OP virgin corporate slave versus Chad self-made comic artist. Very cool. Well said. Well said. And I even got tagged in there. Thank you, not telling you for the tag. Oh my goodness. And things were not going well for her in her own comments either, as you could probably expect, and I showed you a little bit of. Here's some more examples. This person says, as long as you don't try to make money off any of it, aren't you legally in the clear? Genuine question. I'm confused. And Brittany says, No, because you are still illegally distributing on the internet a product you do not own. Sites like Crunchyroll, Funimation, High Dive, Hulu, etc. have to pay a lot of money to put those shows up for fans to watch. What's really going on here? Did Funimation put you up to making these tweets? Are they strapped for cash? Are they going through some tough times? Is Crunchyroll maybe going through some tough times too? Are you trying to kiss up to them and get some VA gigs? Is that what's going on here? What's really going on here, Brittany? Why are you suddenly so mad about all this stuff? And by the way, Avalanche says that's quite the extremist take for someone who has done fan dubs before. You know, as we see time and time again, often people who virtue signal on Twitter are guilty of the things they accuse others for. Of course, this is not as extreme as a lot of other situations we could be talking about, but it still seems quite hypocritical. She does explain that further on. Still hypocritical in my opinion. And of course, as I've said, I don't think she's an attorney. For the record, neither am I. But I do think she should probably go over fair use. Probably look into that a little bit more. And here is someone responding to that tweet saying, "Okay, Brittany," and posting an image of what seems to be the fan dubs she allegedly worked on in the past. Eventually, it leads to this, where Brittany says, "I spent 3 hours responding to people and reiterating what my intent was regarding fan dubs, mostly repeating myself at this point, so I'm muting and going back to my normal post now and never mentioning fan dubs again." Ah, yes, your intent. I would like to talk more about that, as I already mentioned earlier. What's the real intention here for these tweets? Is it to look good for Buddy Funny? Is that what's going on here? She also says, "The point was about how those who are actively pursuing pro studio work shouldn't have fan dubs tied to their names /websites /resume, and that message got muddied." Well, you know what? Unfortunately for you, there are fan dubs that are more popular, more well-received, more successful than productions from companies like Funimation. I mean, heck, she should know all about that, right? She was the voice of Midri in Funimation's dub of Ishii's Okura Viewers, and they apparently scrapped that after, like, episode 1. That production didn't go well at all. What a failure that thing was. I would much rather, if I had to choose between being you or being someone who's well known for working on a fan dub like Team 4-Star, would much rather be the person who is successful with the fan dub than the VA who's failing because the productions they work on never actually succeed. I mean, her default statement saying that fan dubs are just unprofessional and should never be put on a resume or anything like that, I think that's such a bad take. There are many fan dubs out there that are massively successful, and if they are done properly within the legality of fair use, well, there you go. Why not put that on a resume? Unless you're some elitist who thinks only these studios' productions, that should be on a resume because that's official stuff. That's a studio. Independent creators, that's nothing. That's unprofessional. Get out of here. That's not how things work nowadays. I think what's really going on here is the classic case of elitism, as I mentioned already at the beginning of the video, and fragile egos with VAs and other, let's just say, industry professionals in this line of work. You know, licensing, anime and manga, dubbing, distributing, etc., etc. A lot of them are very upset that independent creators like Merryweather Comics are succeeding. They're upset that YouTubers are succeeding. And then they lash out at the fans. They lash out at the anime community. As we saw the other week with Chris Rager. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I made that video. That was crazy. VA literally going out and getting into arguments with fans, telling them that they're worthless, basically. I'm paraphrasing some of this. That video was last week. But then you have this too. And of course, it ends with her muting the posts. "I'm muting this. I don't want to hear the responses. I'm right. You're wrong." And yeah, I'm adding that in there, obviously. But what's the implication when you make these tweets and then you don't listen to any of the responses really, and you just mute everything? How's it look? It doesn't look good. Okay, well, apparently, despite muting the thread, she's still responding to tweets in the thread or something. I don't know what's going on anymore, man. This is a tweet from 54 seconds ago. And to be quite frank, apparently she's, still going on. Well, I'm going to end this here because a lot of these VAs are weirdos to me, and I don't want to talk about it anymore right now. I'm ready to move on to the next topic. So, too much obnoxious behavior for me, man. I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to find more info on this, apparently it's still going on in real time. You know where to find it if you want it, and I'll catch you guys in a few hours for the next segment. Thank you for tuning in.